process, and there's many different ways you can go about it, but hair loss, right? It's important.
Well, I think it's one of maybe the top 3 for sure fears men have. Would you agree?
Yeah, because
I mean, you're
still
fortunate
have.
you haven't lost any hair.
I know.
Yes,
I keep asking my hairstylist, like,
You're not
is it going to
50
stay?
yet, you know?
I know.
I'm
Close to 50.
Don't want to scare you.
No, but I keep asking, like, am I going to keep it? Is it going to stay there? Because, hair is like, for me, and I know it's different for everyone, but like, I love women's hair. I like having my hair because I like just being able to have hair and style it and so forth. And I like the way it looks. But, not everyone is guaranteed that. And I've talked to friends who have lost hair, and a lot of them deal with it in different ways. Some guys I know that will wear hats. Some have gone with just a full-on, razor, and they shave their head. But I never get the sense that they're happy with any of their solutions. They don't like it, right?
It's hard, and everyone's different. I mean, some men can totally just own it, and they just go with it, and they have the confidence. I have many friends like that. They fought it for a while, of course.
Yeah.
They did everything they could to style it, do different topical solutions, different treatments. And eventually just said, okay, I'm just going to buzz it. These particular friends didn't shave it down, but they buzzed it really tight.
Yeah.
And they just owned it. And they had the confidence to pull it off really well. And I thought it looked better than them trying to manage to get by.
Yes.
But to each their own, I guess. I think there are just some ways that men can make different choices that might make them feel more confident.
Well, do you think the confidence makes a big difference in terms of your presentation? So if you own something and you're confident in your presentation, that probably comes across in a much better way, I would guess.
It does, because we all know when people are insecure about something, right? It comes across in different ways. And I have complete empathy. I mean, women do lose hair also as they age, but not like men do. I can understand how it totally changes your look and why you would be really fearful of having to go through that process.
Yeah,
but there are things you can do.
Yeah, my mom turned 77 today, but I know that her hair has been thinning over the last couple of years, and it's a big deal for her.
It's always been okay in societal norms for women to spend money and time to look their best, right?
Yes.
We all know.
It's almost an expectation.
Some men don't want to know how much their women are spending on these things, but they're spending likely a lot more than they are. And I would just love for men to know that it's okay for them to invest in themselves, to feel good.
So why is it that guys don't want to admit that they invest in themselves or don't feel comfortable investing in themselves?
Well, that's a good question for you, Chad.
Well, I think it probably goes back to, I invest in myself, but I know for like guys from my dad's era or age, they just look at that kind of stuff like, nah, I'm a man. I'm not going to do that.
A lot of men are embarrassed if they were to invest money and say, do hair transplants. That would be something like shameful to them. And I would just hope that they could move past that and realize that's nothing to be embarrassed about. If that makes you feel good and look your best, why not? And there's a lot of different ways to do it. I had a friend who was just going to go to Turkey, and I guess they're the place to go versus hair transplants.
So they're dialed in.
They got the rugs on the head and on the floor. But you can have your whole vacation paid for and pay maybe half of what you would pay locally and go to Turkey and have a whole resort experience, heal from the transplants and come back. We have a lot of clients who have transplants, and you really wouldn't even know they have them unless you were like in their hair.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people might think back in the day, transplants, you could actually see them in, it looks really bad.
Yeah.
But that's not how they are now. And at least depending on who does them, I'm sure. But I think for the majority, the way the techniques they have now are really realistic. But it's definitely worth looking into if men are concerned about the loss they're having.
Like, I know that there's got to be better solutions than, like, my Uncle Howard was a great man, but he wore a toupee, and it looked like a toupee, and you could tell it was fake. It was awful. And I know my Aunt Vicky couldn't stand it, but he did that. And so, again, that was a long time ago. So there have been a lot of advances in the technology and what people can do with their hair. So what are some of the options, viable options for men who are facing hair loss?
Well, it's funny you mentioned the toupee. Did you watch the Menendez brothers? That was incredible, wasn't it? I didn't realize he had a rug. I mean, like a toupee. And they can make those look really good. So maybe that's an option. I'm not really aware of that process, but
they've gotten better over time.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a little embarrassing if it fell off in inopportune times. But so besides hair transplants, another thing that's becoming, I'm not sure if it's really that common or popular, but taking tattooing for hair follicle. So it's almost like emulating a stubble. So of course, it's not going to give you hair, but it's going to make it look like you have stubble. So maybe somebody who is receding a little bit might fill in the receding hairline with tattoo. And surprisingly, they're charging a ton for that. So I'm not really sure if it's just because it's new. And I don't know anyone who's had it. So I'm not speaking for it. Just it's something out there right now. Another thing is that you can just get a fiber filler. So if you're starting to maybe get the back of your head, you're starting to see a little bit more scalp. Because that's really what starts to be obvious is your pale skin, your hair, the dark hair. So you can have a fiber type product that you can put into your hair, kind of fills it in a little bit, and so you don't see that white scalp poking through.
Yeah.
So that's an option. And then of course, just shaving it off.
Yeah.
Either having a stubble, like taking a one guard, and you can even save money doing it yourself. Not that we're, harem, we can do it for you also with the scalp massage, or you can do it yourself, or shave it.
How do you know if shaving is the right way to go? Does everyone have a head that is meant to be bald or no? What's the answer on that?
Unfortunately not. Yeah, my brother's one of those people. Yeah, he's mostly bald on the top, and he's always said, I'm never going to shave the whole thing because he has a lumpy head. You may not know that until you do it one time. Maybe you start with a number one guard.
So if you got the right head for it or not.
But as far as the shape of your head, of course, you're going to look very different. I mean, if you're used to walking around with hair on your head, it's going to take you a while to get used to this new look. But what a lot of people do also is they start growing facial hair, and that seems to pull together the look really well. So whether they're doing a beard or they're doing just, 5 o'clock shadow, whatever they're doing. So.
And I've got a couple of friends who do that. They have a full beard and they are bald, but they look good. I look at them and I don't think, man, they're bald. I think, gosh, how do you pull that off and look so great at the same time?
Well, they're low maintenance, right?
Yeah, there is help there.
On a rainy day like today, they could care less.
You don't have to worry about bad hair day. You don't have to worry about styling your hair. You got to keep up on the shaving of your head. But, some guys that have the right head for it, they look great. Yeah. And the beard look is a good one too.
Right. I think it's just like we said, how you wear it and just your confidence.
Well, I guess the big question I have, Celeste, is that, because I don't know the answer to this, but when you talk about hair transplants, what exactly is that? What are they doing? How does that work exactly?
Well, I'm not an expert and I have not had it done, but I do know quite a few people who have had it done and they've been very happy with it. Some of them have actually had to go back more than once because once you continue to lose hair, you have to have it more follicles transplanted. But generally, from what they're doing is they're taking from the back of the scalp, above the nape of your neck, and they're taking those follicles then, and one by one, they're taking those and implanting them in the areas where you're thinning. So it's a lengthy process and doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
But then it's over. And so then I think you have a healing process of maybe a month. So if you did do a trip the Turkey experience, you would be by the pool, kind of relaxing while you're healing. You probably want to have a little bit of time off of work, obviously.
Now, you're growing your own hair at that point?
It's your own hair. I imagine they might have hair donors.
But like you said, if you have that, I mean, it's real hair, so it looks like real hair.
It is amazing how real it is. It used to be that you had to go to a special place to get your hair done if you had hair transplants. But now at Harem and at Chrome, we have a lot of clients who come in, and I even have an employee who's had them done. And, you wouldn't know it. Once you get into the hair as a stylist, they would know probably.
That's great. And I have a very simple philosophy when it comes to getting something like that done with your hair, or whether it be breast implants or whatever the case may be. Whatever gives you confidence, right? So if you're going to do something that's going to change the way that you view yourself, or if it gives you more confidence, or if you feel better about yourself, I think it's a great idea.
Why not?
If you like what you see in the mirror when you get up in the morning, it's going to change your entire outlook on everything. So it's a good thing. Like my papa would never do that. Or my dad.
The times have changed.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that men's partners would be thankful that they would put that effort into looking great.
Hearing you correctly, then the most important thing is whatever pathway you choose, you want to choose the path where you can just be confident and own it then.
That's right. And don't make decisions not to do something because you think it's going to make you look like you're too vain.
Yeah.
Or you're less masculine. Because I just think that doing whatever you can do, it's with what's in your means and what you can afford, you're going to look back and be glad you did it, I think.
Yeah. I wonder why guys, and maybe it's just the other generation, but the day and age of the comb over, trying to Why?
You're not really fooling anybody, are you?
No. I don't know. Like my dad, he's kind of buzzed it down. I mean, he's not insecure about it whatsoever, but he hasn't had hair for a long time. But, for a while there, he would just manipulate how he combed it to cover up some of the bald. And I'm just like, he was cool with that. But I'm like, why don't you just buzz it down? And so when he did it, I think he likes it even better that way.
And, it's kind of easy for us to sit here and say this, both of us having full heads of hair.
Yes.
When going through that, I'm sure it's very traumatic.
Oh, I would be gripping. Like right now, if I was losing my hair and we were talking about this, like I would have great anxiety, right?
Yeah.
I've never had to deal with that, but yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, and another thing, that's happening is a lot of men are having the hormone therapy right now, which gives great results. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not.
So there's a lot of naturopaths, I guess, that are doing it, other doctors as well. And, we all, as we age, our hormones start getting depleted in different ways. And so this hormone therapy generally includes testosterone. And excess testosterone is one of the reasons why men do lose hair. So with that, which is also why men who have excess testosterone generally have hairier bodies and backs. We talked last time about body hair.
Yeah.
So generally you'll see someone who has a hairy back also having less hair on their head. And that's from the excess testosterone. So by having the hormone therapy, what some men will find, and I have a friend like this who was enjoying completely the benefits of hormone therapy, better sex life, better body, his metabolism was higher, but then he was losing his hair. And he had a pretty good head of hair until I think he was maybe in his late 50s. And then he started doing the hormone therapy and started losing his hair.
Interesting.
So a lot of men don't really go into that realizing that might be the outcome. He wouldn't have traded it. The benefits of that were so great that he was very happy with that, even though he had less hair.
All right, Celeste Trapp Harem is in studio. We'll come back and more as we continue to deal with real life struggles that we all face. So if I face some of these issues in the future, there are much better options than what they had in the past.
That's right. You can keep looking your awesome self, Chad, even if you don't have any hair.
Oh, my goodness. Well, my guess would be, and maybe you know this better because of the guys who come in, but how many guys are willing to open up and talk about, hair loss or what's troubling them? Will they talk about it with their stylist, talk about options, or do they not want to bring it up?
Well, it is definitely a sensitive subject. And I don't even know. Do your buddies start talking to you about their hair loss?
No.
I don't know who they talk to. But I have always heard that men often hear first about their hair loss from their hairstylist because they're like over their head. And then in the shampoo bowl, it becomes more obvious when they start losing it. But, earlier prevention, the better. There are supplements people can take. We sell one called Nutrafol that's also sold by dermatologists that a lot of clients have success with. It's like a supplement they take. And within 3 months, they start seeing some more hair. But, if you're really losing hair, you're not going to have a whole head of hair,
now,
but you're going to have more hair.
If you still have hair, is there anything you can do to prevent the loss of hair, or is that just something that happens naturally based on who you are, your genetic makeup?
Yeah, there's multiple reasons why people lose hair. We were just talking about excess testosterone is a natural reason. Some men's bodies just naturally produce more testosterone, and some are getting therapy with testosterone. But another reason why men lose hair is they can have hair follicles clogged. And that happens with a lot of hair product, especially poor quality hair product, has a lot of waxes and parabens in them that can clog your follicles. So your hair can't actually pop through it. So using quality shampoo, having a scalp exfoliation treatments, that can help keeping your hair follicles clean and clear.
I didn't even think about that. So some products can clog.
Exactly. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. So I know a lot of clients, they come in and out of their stylists and their barbershops, and they're like, I'll just use my wife's product, or I'll just get that crap from the store.
Yeah.
They don't use the word crap, but that's what it is. And then what they're doing is they're adding not only buildup on their hair from, because, anything's cheap. You get what you pay for, right?
Yes.
But it's not only adding that wax onto your hair strands, but it's also going into your follicle.
I hate to think how much I just pay for that big bottle of shampoo I got, but I'm the same way. I'm so afraid of a bad product that I'm willing to overspend to make sure that I'm putting good stuff on my dome.
Well, and if you just use a dime or so, like that will last you a long time.
Yeah.
It's a good investment. The best thing we always have clients who are like, oh, I'll just use my wife's product. I'm thinking, well, does your wife really want you to use her product, first of all?
Yeah.
Second of all, do you have the same hair style and type of hair as your wife? Probably not. Do you want to smell like your wife? Probably not.
Yes.
So probably good to invest in your own product. It all comes out of the same bank account likely anyway, and have a product that's good for your type of hair, but also one that's not going to potentially make it hard for your new hair growth to come through.
And I think most of us have buddies who like to wear hats on a regular basis. Does that impact hair, wearing a hat all the time?
I have never heard that.
Yeah.
It's a good
Because I've heard
question,
that
but-
if you wear a hat all the time, it can cause you to lose hair or to have a receding hairline. That's one of those things I've always thought, is that real or is that a wives' tale?
Yeah,
That's one of
maybe a
those.
wives' tale.
Yeah, because I hear that. I'm like, I'm not really buying that.
Yeah.
I don't wear hats, but I have friends that do just because they like to wear hats, right? So you don't have to worry about damage.
And it's good. And that's another thing too with men with thinning hair is you really have to make sure you're using sunscreen.
What does the sun damage do?
Well, there's a thing called skin cancer, Chad.
Well, I know that, but I mean,
So, yeah. Well,
But is it
because you
tied
have-
into hair loss?
Hair protects your skin.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So if you're losing your hair and then you're out in the sun,
Yeah.
you need to put sunscreen on.
Yes, and I
So-
know Dwight, who is bald, and then my dad, like they've had to go in and have, those
Basal
lesions
cells.
removed. Yeah.
I've had them taken off my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. So you got to use a sunscreen and, or wear the hat.
I'm afraid of what's coming in the near future because of the lack of my stupidity when I was younger, being out in the sun all the time, and I'm going to pay a price for it. I know.
Like I said, I've had 3 times my nose and my cheek here. So anyone who's out there not using sunscreen, and
Use
I know
sunscreen.
men are terrible. I mean, women, especially over 30, were like all about sunscreen. But I know so many guys are like, oh no, I'm fine.
No.
And just because you're not burning doesn't mean you're not getting the sun damage.
I
So-
know. And the good thing is now is that usually what will happen now in the morning before we tee off is that someone or more than one will pull out the sunscreen and like, all right, and they just pass it around so they can, so the guys can get the sun treatment on to protect themselves.
Well, in the last segment, you're talking about facials. Sunscreen, just bringing that up about your skin. If you're using sunscreen that's meant for your body,
Yes.
don't put that on your face.
Yeah.
It's way too heavy and greasy, and it's going to clog your pores. They're going to get you really good when
I
they're
don't
cleaning
need
out your
that.
pores in your next facial. So, get the stuff meant for the face.